Hey, it's Brad J, and this is Tame Your Talent, your Friday edition of Tame Your Talent for your 12th day of November. Welcome to your Friday. Brad J with you here. Wow. How you doing? Are you doing good? Is your Friday starting off good, or whatever it may be for you whenever you're listening to this podcast? But this is my daily podcast here on Tame Your Talent. My name is Brad J, host announcer for so many massive gigs over the years with X Games and the Olympics and so much. 20 plus year career announcing action sports and mainstream sports and making a living out of it and raising 3 kids, buying houses, and just being all the way happy, right? And as my kids are getting older, I'm still doing just as much work as I did when my kids were younger. But it's been a pretty cool trip all the way to get to where I am now. And it started out humble beginnings, not really having a clue what I wanted to do. And I followed my path and always had a positive attitude that I would think it was going to turn out right. And I worked towards my goal. And boom, there you go. Now I am where I'm at. Professional announcer and a daily podcaster, YouTube host, and all kinds of other things that I do. All right. Yesterday, I got to say something. If you did not listen to the podcast yesterday, go back and listen to it. Everything's dated, so you can see the dates on it too as well. I said I had big news yesterday, and I broke out with this big news about Velocity Resort, a resort that I have been part founders of, that is supposed to happen and be built in the Tennessee Smoky Mountains. And we're talking, believe it or not, we're talking surfing in Tennessee. Yep, we're going to have a surf feature built there, and also a downhill mountain biking going on. All kinds of other stuff too as well. Kayaking. There's kayaking already on the Pigeon River right there in Tennessee off Interstate 40, but we're going to take over that whole entire place and build a Velocity Resort, and it is basically your action sports Disneyland. And yesterday on the show, I released the information for the first time. I've never talked about it on my podcast, and I always say because I don't want it to be jinxed or whatever like that, and so that's why I never mentioned it. But this is a big thing, because going from, a very successful announcing career into a multi-millionaire or billionaire, whatever the case may be, once this place gets built, that would be kind of a trip for me. And it'd be a trip for you to watch it all or listen to it all happen on the daily podcast, because I'm going to update everything all the way through. So that was the big news yesterday that I broke out with. Velocity Resort getting close to being 100% funded. And we're talking a resort that's not in the millions of dollars, that's in the billions of dollars that I am involved in. And if it comes true, my life is going to change in a big, big way. All right. Today on the show for your Friday, man, excited about the weekend and excited about today. Today, for my first time, I'm going to, you ready for this? I'm going Hollywood on you. Yeah, indeed. Remember I said, I don't know if you heard about it, but in the podcast, I've been talking about a movie being filmed in my little town of La Conchita here, nestled between Santa Barbara and Ventura, right here on the coast. And there's a full Hollywood production, full trucks, everything going on. My neighbors are doing a story about their grandparents who used to entertain troops back in the day for the USO, back like in World War II, Korea, I think Korea was it, and they've passed away. But this is a story kind of about their life, and I knew this couple, right? So they're making this big movie about it here in La Conchita, and the trucks, everyone's out. You see the director's out and everything. Today, I have a part in the movie. How cool is that? I actually have a part in this movie. I'm pretty fired up about it, man. All right? I'll tell you about it in a sec. Remember, Tame Your Talent is on YouTube. Of course, I got to say that, right? Go to my YouTube page. Come on, check it out. There's a voice swap with me and my nephew, who's 11 years old, and we voice swap. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's on my YouTube page, on Tame Your Talent YouTube page. Also, Facebook, give me a like there, and you can catch up on the podcast on the Facebook. I do try to post them there, too, as well. Don't forget, I do a nightly, did I say do? I freaking said do, didn't I? I do a nightly radio show, spinning classic rock tunes for 6 hours. And I've been doing this for, oh my goodness, 20 some odd years. And you can listen to it on ktyd.com. That's ktyd.com. We call it K-Tide. And you can tune in 7 to midnight. I do the show. And that is Cali time, West Coast. So Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. to midnight. I'm on the air Monday through Friday. So tonight, I have a great show. So you're gonna dig it if you tune on in. KTYD.com. Don't forget my social media is Brad JAYMC. Brad JAYMC on all the social. Okay, so I told you about the movie. The movie's being filmed. What is it? I think it's day 5 of a full Hollywood production just right out my back door to my house. I mean, I could seriously walk right out there and be watching them going over shots and scenes, and there's catering across the street. It's crazy. It's a full movie production. Now, I've been on one before. Back in the day, it was a very short-lived time for me, but I got myself a Hollywood agent. So I had a Hollywood agent down there off Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, and I would go on auditions. So I seriously would, and I had the full pictures and everything. Like, you could send these pictures out to people that were looking for actors or what have you, and I had the full setup. And so I would go to these auditions, and I would try to get these jobs, and I would audition for these random people in front of a camera. It was just weird. And it seemed like every audition I'd be sent on, I'd have no chance to even get the job. Case in point, they sent me on a job to get a job, to get a commercial as a biker, right? As like, a Harley guy on a Harley, right? So here I am, super long blonde hair, definitely not a Harley dude, definitely looking like a surfer full on back in those days, right? And so they send me on jobs like this to get it, and I get in line, and here I am in line with like 10 dudes, full tattoos, bald head, wearing leather jackets and leather pants, and freaking just bikers, basically, like right off the bike in front of me. So I would go to these auditions, and I'd be like, man, I ain't gonna get this job. They're not looking for it. And then there was one job. They were trying to hire a dude, and they want him to be kind of like a dirty, hippie-looking dude, okay? So long hair, scromy looking, dirty, and that was the guy they were looking to try and hire. And so I went on that audition to get that job, and guess what? Oh, I got that job. I nailed that. I didn't have to do anything. My looks got me that job, and that's what I mean by, like, it's a lot of it's looks. And so I get the job to play a dirty hippie, and I get on site that day in LA, downtown Los Angeles somewhere. I forget where we were. And we were shooting on a studio lot, probably Paramount or something like that. And my scene was to take place inside of a plane. So I'm supposed to be in a plane next to this lady who's next to me, and she's like a businesswoman, so she's dressed in all business attire. And then I'm supposed to be dude, cut off sleeves shirt, right? Cut off sleeves, long hair, unshaven, just really scromy, and just kind of violating her space, like my arm on the back of the seat, my feet up on my lap with no shoes on. So I'm trying to be this dirty hippie for the job. And so I'm on this shoot, right? And I'm on this shoot, right? And I'm there for, my gosh, how long was it? Probably 9 hours that day I'm on location. And the one thing that I did like being on shoot is the food, first off. If you've never been on a Hollywood shoot or a movie shoot in your life, and most people haven't, the food is insane. The food is absolutely insane. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the catering is insane. I remember it was like baked sea bass and scalloped potatoes, followed by German chocolate cake and things like that. Just ridiculous amounts of food. And then you're there for, it must have taken probably 40 minutes to shoot my whole part, right? And the company was called Trip.com. Trip.com was a company that would plan your trips for you. And that's, it's way, that's obviously, I don't even think that's a company anymore, but that was the company that I did the shoot for. So it took 30, 40 minutes to do my part, but I was there for 9 freaking hours just eating the most insanely good catering food and got paid good money. Something about that coffee in the morning, right? But here's the problem. Los Angeles is 2 hours from my house. And it's a house, that I'm currently living in, that I was then too as well. So I would go on these auditions with no chance of getting a job. So I would do maybe 3 auditions in a week. So think about the drive. You're doing about 160 miles round trip from my house into Los Angeles and back just to go to an audition. And so I wouldn't get these auditions. So I eventually was like, you know what? I'm going to drop the whole agent thing. And I was done with it. It wasn't working for me. And at that point in my life, I wasn't doing the morning show for radio yet. I was just doing a surf report, so I was looking for something else to do. I was actually, in fact, working with a friend of mine, and we were tiling houses. We were putting tile down. Like, that's what I was doing when I was trying to be an actor at the same time. So I didn't know which road to try to go the acting road or not. And the reason I tried to go the acting road is because I have some of it in my family. Now, my cousin, my cousin is Lindsay Wagner. I don't know. Some of you know who she is. Some of you don't. She played the Bionic Woman in the 70s sitcom that was on TV. It was opposite the $6 Million Man. There was another one that was on. That was, what was it? Steve Austin was the guy, the character in that one. And his name was Lee Majors. Well, Lindsay Wagner was the spinoff from the $6 Million Man. It was the Bionic Woman. And so, as a kid, here's my cousin who is just like this massive TV celebrity. And I think at that time, I'm in like 6th grade, 7th grade, somewhere right about that time, like in between junior high school and like in elementary school. And it was amazing having her because I would bring a picture of me and her hanging out and people would be like, what the heck? How do you know her? And it was pretty cool. So it was part of my family growing up to have that, that famous relative, in the family. And the cool thing is where I was growing up, in Santa Barbara County as a kid, she came out and filmed out at Vandenberg Air Force Base, which is out by Lompoc, which is out by Santa Barbara. And this is when I'm in 7th grade, I think. She came out and filmed an episode for the Bionic Woman. And I got to go out there and take a friend, and we got to go hang out in her trailer. Her trailer, they have the actors and actresses all have their trailer on site. It's all like big time, right? So we got to hang out there and see it firsthand. So it was really cool to be part of that, later on in life. And I ended up moving to Malibu to live with my mom and Lindsay's mom. And so I got to meet a lot of actors and actresses, worked at a Malibu restaurant. It was fun. It was pretty cool. So that brings me to today is a big step. Today I go at 4 p.m. today. I will be filming this movie. I'll be a character in the movie, and the part I play is a MC. What a stretch, right? An MC at a chili cook-off is what I play. So it's pretty cool. And I don't have to be there 9 hours like I had to the one time I shot that commercial. In that commercial, I didn't have a speaking part. I think I'll actually be talking in this one. Maybe just announcing in the background or whatever the case may be. But for 4 hours today, shooting a movie, playing an MC at a chili cook-off. Here's the ironic story about this, okay? This story is about the older couple that lived behind me for many years and their life story. And something we've done in this town that I live in, we've had chili cook-offs year after year. For many years, we would do this, and people would compete. Your classic town having a chili cook-off. And the other thing is, I used to DJ all the events we would have. So we would have events on the beach because we have a beach right by our house. And I would set up my DJ rig and I would spin tunes on the beach. And then I would go over to chili cook-off sometimes, and I'd be on the mic at the chili cook-off and introducing the participants. But we did so much cool stuff in this town back in the day when the kids were young, and the town was still kind of just a different era. So I'm actually playing myself kind of because I've actually been the MC for this chili cook-off that's going to be in the film about a thing that's actually happened. And I think the town is going to be called El Castillo. I think I said this before in one of my the first filming day of when the whole production crew came out here. El Castillo is, I think, their name in our town when it's called La Conchita. And the reason they're doing that is just to kind of protect the town so people aren't trying to come out here. And who knows? What if it's a cult classic? What if I'm in a film that's a full cult classic? I mean, I doubt it, I doubt that this is going to be much. I mean, because it seems like nowadays with Netflix and everything going around, there's so much filming going on and so much content being created that, I mean, how do you separate one from the other? So today, 4 o'clock, that's my thing. I'm going to be on location and I'm going to play a MC at a chili cook-off for my first ever full-blown Hollywood movie. So I'm pretty stoked on that. We'll see how it turns out. I'm hoping I get a talking part. Like they actually hear my voice. Because then I could use that like, on something else or a resume or a reel or something like that. So pretty excited. We'll see how that goes out. And I'm wishing you all to have an amazing weekend and a very happy Friday. Make sure you check out Tame Your Talent on YouTube. Indeed. As I buff out my YouTube page and make that thing epic. Okay. And also my first ebook's there too as well. So if you go to my YouTube page, you click on the header and it'll take you right to my first free ebook, which kind of breaks down a little story about my life and my travels and my journey to get to where I've gotten to. And I'm doing a full-blown book, but this one's called Ninth Caller. It's my first ebook. Pretty stoked on that. That is on YouTube. You can check that out. Email me. Love to hear from you. Don't be scared. TameYourTalent@gmail.com. I'm just a normal person, man, just like you and me. Put my pants on the same way. TameYourTalent@gmail. I didn't know why I said that. That's dumb. TameYourTalent@gmail.com. TameYourTalent@gmail.com. And if you're in the mood for classic rock, and it's Monday through Friday, and it's 7 p.m. to midnight on the West Coast, you know what to do. Tune into my radio show, ktyd.com, ktyd.com. If you're in Santa Barbara, you can listen to it on the airwaves at 99.9. But I'll tell you what, ktyd.com, I'm on there 7 to midnight, Monday through Friday, spinning classic rock all night long. It's a show you might want to check out. I'm Brad J. That is your Tame Your Talent podcast for your 12th day of November, your Friday. Happy weekend to you all. I'm Brad J. See ya.